So here we are on Monday night 9-ball Scotch doubles again. First time for a little while. Let's see if we can see the bracket. Tournament's just started. And we've got 4 teams in. Double elimination, race to 7. And the winner's side, race to 5, and the one loss side. And we have Black Jagged and Potman playing Tin and Hustling Howie, and Wit and Hazard playing Mr. Bill and One Pocket Slim. So the first rack's over. Mr. Bill and Slim are up 1-0. Now team 1 are getting a handicap. They're getting a 6-ball. It's alternate break. Now Wit and Hazard are well capable of doing something here if they just keep their heads together. But the 6-ball is generous enough handicap if they can get there. The problem straight away here is this 3-ball. The 2-ball is a nasty cut. And he's going to scratch. Well, ball in hand, and Mr. Bill and Slim have a chance to run out, but they're going to have to work that 3-ball. Now let me just check my little doodle thing, see if it still works. Well, Bill tried his best to do something there, but no joy. Now Slim should be playing a safe here. There's no knowing what he'll do. He's maybe going for the bank. No, playing the safe, and he's got it. And Wit is going to jump this. Got out the problem, but he hasn't got away with it, I don't think. Or is that 6-ball doing him a favour? Yes, it is. And Bill's going to try and cut this top right hand corner. Here's another. Now this is a great chance for Hazard and Wit. Now they should run this rack out. And well, Wit can try getting in behind the 7-ball here. If he gets in behind the 7, gets the cue ball up the table, his partner should have a shot in the 5. It needs to keep running though. That's not bad. So Hazard just needs to drop the 5 in. He shouldn't be looking to do anything here at all. Just drop the 5 in. His partner's going to have a shot in the 6. So this for 1-all. And this is the kind of thing that Wit and Hazard need to do, and they need to cut out any silly errors. And that way it keeps the pressure on Slim and Mr. Bill, who are the favourites for the tournament. An easy safety here. can go off the left edge of that 1 ball, bank it back towards the 5 and get that cue ball up the table. Somewhere in amongst those balls at the top end in the left hand side. Again, he's went for the bank in the 1 and he's fluked the 9. How about that? It's great how matches turn around so quickly. So Hazard and Witt are now up 2-1. Witt breaking off in rack number 4. The scratch and the break. Ball in hand for Slim. I don't know whether he's... Well, he's went for a wild combo bank on the 9, and I think that was a big risk to take, but I think he took it from the fact that the 2 balls tied up with the 4, and he's got away with it. Just having a check, make sure the stream looks okay. It looks okay to me. Bill, I think he's trying to bank again. He's banked to 1. And his partner's going to have to play a 2-4 combo. Not an easy combo. It's not set. And of course Slim doesn't know where the 2 balls are going to end up when he plays this. Well, he's played it reasonably well controlled. He's still left an awkward cut, but the cut is on. And the cue ball will be back across the table for that 3 ball into the same pocket. Well, Bill made sure he got enough weight in it. He's come to the other side. He's still fine. In fact, that's better because he can get... Slim can get in behind the 6 here if he wants to take that 5 down the rail. So this is where Slim and Bill can't make a mistake, remembering that their opponents are on the 6 ball as their extra money ball. Looks fairly straightforward, and Bill needs to come back a bit here or he's going to go forward and down. No, he is coming back. Anything but straight. He's left a nice angle, and Slim can drop the 8 in. Cue ball back out into the table as far over to the left as he can, really. So Slim and Bill are going to tie the match up. 2 racks all. Slim passes the break to Bill. And a scratch in the break. And the 6 ball went in the break. Now the good thing about that for Bill and Slim is that is Witt's and Hazard's extra money ball, so they have to either run out, or in this case Witt is going for a long 1-9 combo here. And whatever he does, I don't think it'd be advisable to hit this soft, because he doesn't want to leave that 9 hanging over the pocket. I'd be hitting this firm. Oh, he played that very nice indeed. So very quickly, from that scratch in the break and ball in hand, Hazard and Witt are back into the lead. This time the 7 ball has gone. And that 6 ball is in behind the 9, but we can see there's plenty of room getting into that middle pocket, no problem there. Just got to get on it. And that's a poor one from Witt. And that's the type of mistakes you don't want to be making against these guys. You don't want to be giving them gifts to start them off. You've got yourself into the lead, and the one thing you don't want to do is just leave a hanger. Well, the 3 ball, that 3 ball possibly goes in off the jaw, but it's very tight past that 5 ball. Extremely tight, in fact too tight. And Slim hasn't done his partner any favours here, so Bill trying to squeeze the 2 past the 4. He's made a complete hash of it, and here's a gift chance for Hazard and Witt. But they've got to deal with that 3 ball, and the angle that Hazard has got in the 2 isn't a great angle. He's going to have to slam this a bit. As he got there, well, on shots like this you don't want to be aiming them off angle, you want to be looking at them straight. Let's have a closer look at that 3. It looks really tight, but I think it goes in off the jaw. If you look at it from here, it goes in off the jaw, but the 5 ball is too much in the way to be playing a shot at this angle. He's tried to billiard the 5 in. Well, they'll be happy with that. No damage done. No shot for Slim. And now we're going to get a bit of tip tapping. Well, that 3 ball is a bank into this bottom right hand corner. It's just a question of whether Hazard is going to grab the bull by the horns and have a slam at it. Nope. It was a good bank. Oh, Bill has made the mistake. The cut is now on in that 3 ball. Not an easy shot though. Got to watch the pace. And he's overcut it by a big margin. So now Slim is going to have the chance. Similar shot. The only difference is the 4 ball's been knocked out into the table. Will make it a lot easier for Slim to get his partner on that 4 ball. And probably the best plan here would be to cut the 3 and make sure there's enough pace in the cue ball to bounce off this bottom rail and back up into the table to give Bill a shot on that 4. Well, he got that all wrong, got the pot. So, ball in hand, and this is a crucial ball in hand here, because Hazard and Witt have got themselves into the lead. They're 3-2 up. And Hazard just needs to roll through and leave Witt an angle in the 5, which he has done. And it's not a great angle if he wants to draw this off the 5. If he tries to cut the 5 and draw it, there's a strong danger of scratching in that left middle pocket. He needs to be careful. He's avoided that. The only problem is he's got no position in the 6. Now, does that 9 bank? Now, look at the 9. The 9 is heading towards that diamond there, and it looks like a bank. It almost went. So Hazard and Witt's chance has gone, and Bill and Slim should take this out, but Bill is dead straight in the 6. He's going to have to try and squeeze something here, and he's played it well. And that's just gone to that uncomfortable angle again. I mean, the 5 looks fine. It's just a little bit of a tweaky shot, this 9 ball. Very easy to cut it to the right hand jaw and not get enough cut on it. And he's made sure. So we're tied up again, 3 racks all. Race to 7. And Slim breaking off in rack number 7. Now the 1 ball has gone in, and Bill has got a shot in the 2. Now this should be a run out. Slight problem again. Bill's left dead straight in the 2. He's going to have to leave Slim a tough 3 ball. He doesn't want to try and do too much with this cue ball. He can only really stop the cue ball where the 2 is and leave Slim an awkward cut. Unless he wants to try and draw up the table, but no, that was really the best thing to do. Just try and get the cue ball out into the table a bit, which he's done. And Slim just needs to concentrate on the 3, because the cue ball will do the rest. It will come across to the right and at least give Bill a shot in the 4. Now Bill, now this is a slight problem. If we look at the 6 goes past the 7, so there's no problem there. The reason I'm saying that is because it's unlikely that Bill's going to leave this dead straight in the 5, which he hasn't done. And he's left the angle. The cue ball's going to run to the right. And Slim might try and just dig this 5 in with a bit of draw and try and draw across to where the 8 ball is. Because if he runs forward, he's got a risk of colliding with something there, and it could all go pear-shape. So he's playing the little draw. And that's the right shot, because we know the 6 passes the 7. And Bill can either go forward off the left rail and out, or just a little stop shot in the 6, I think. Well, this rack should be over. Oh dear. Well, there's a disaster and a gift and a half. A bad mistake by Slim. Stunned it into the pocket. And dead easy for Witt and Hazard to take the lead. And that could be a crucial mistake. Well, what looked like Slim and Bill get into the lead, it's all gone haywire. And Witt and Hazard are up by 4 racks to 3. Wit going to break off in rack number 8. And that was a careless one from Slim. One ball drops into the right middle. Cue ball's going to scratch though. So deja vu here. An open table. Ball in hand for Bill. And Slim. A pair of them should run out here. The problem ball's a 6 because the 6 hasn't got a pocket at the top end of the table. The 8's blocking the left hand one and the 7's blocking the right. So there's work to be done considering where that 5 ball is. And really, the only thing that Slim's going to be able to do when he gets to this 5 ball, once Bill's potted a 4, Slim's going to have to try and just get the cue ball somewhere up the top end of the table. Let's have a look, double check. Well, that 6 ball does go past the 7, but it's asking a lot to get it accurately on that 6 to pot it. I still think the percentage shot is to get the cue ball up the top end, somewhere in between the 7 and the 8. Well, he's gone for the position. He's gone a wee bit too far. It's left Bill the awkward cut. But it wasn't a bad effort in getting on the position there, but it was a risky shot to take because it did need to get good position. Bill's overcut it, but the 7 has come to the rescue. Now, this is difficult to keep safe because the cue ball is only going to go one direction if he went from the right, and that might be okay if it keeps running. Slows down. Well, it's come off the rail. There is a cut there for Slim. Oh, he's cut it into the bottom rail, and that's now a gift again for Wit and Hazard. And that 6 ball is off the rail. It's not a difficult cut, just got to gently coax it into the pocket. And don't play it with any power because that cue ball will run up the table into that top left hand corner. Well, he's played it with a bit of English, so he's okay. We're 5-3 now for Wit and Hazard. And Slim and Bill are now under pressure. Nine ball goes in. That'll be spotted. Here's another great chance. Look at the way these balls are sitting. I mean, this is where Wit and Hazard just need to stop, take their time. Wit's looking at the table. Now, he's stunned that a bit more than he wanted to because now he's got Hazard on the wrong side of the 2. It cuts into the middle. But if Wit is going to have a shot in this 3, Hazard is going to have to do something there, and he's overcut the 2. The 2's now on. But he had to play that with a bit of pace to get the cue ball out into the table somewhere to at least give Wit a chance in the 3. It was a difficult shot. And Slim's now faced with a toughie. And the pressure really is on when these guys only have to get to the 6 ball. And this is what Slim and Bill are up against. Slim's banked to 3, good shot. Lined it up, took his time, and right into the heart of the pocket. This time Slim can go forward, or he can do the little drop. That looks okay. I'd still be going forward with a little touch of inside on this shot to let the cue ball come off the end rail. That's what Bill's doing. And that was a risk that you take. It sends that 6 ball slightly offline. You've got to judge playing shots with inside English, especially that little bit of pace to get the cue ball to react and do what you want it to do. But you got it okay. Now here's the one that looks dead easy. An easy 8 ball, and get the cue ball up the table for a shot in the 9. And it's very easy to overdo it. We've seen it 100 times in 9 ball. Bill didn't take the risk of going up the table. Anywhere near the left or right middle pocket gives Slim a shot in the 9, and that was a wise shot. And Slim cannot afford to miss this. Trailing 5-3. And it goes. That's 1 back. Four ball goes in, 7 ball goes in. And no real great shot in this one for Bill. And not easy to get a safe on this either. He could just roll the one to the top end rail. He's played the 1 into the 5, but that's actually not bad either. But Witt has a chance on a bank in this one. And this is where you've got to look at the score. You're 5-4 up. Are you prepared to take that risk? Because the cue ball's going down for the 2 ball, but the 3 ball doesn't have a pocket in the top right hand end. The difficulty would be getting the 3 if you're going to try and run out to the 6. So Witt decided on the safety. Now, can Slim see enough of that 1 to pot it? Let's have a look. No, he can't, and that's not going to get to a rail. So another mistake here by Slim, and ball in hand for Hazard and Witt. But there's no change with that 3 ball, so Slim and Bill won't be overly alarmed at the situation. And they won't be even more worried now that that cue ball's finished dead straight in the 2. Well, Witt can squeeze an angle there. He can pinch a bit on that 2. And if he plays it with bottom and right English, he can punch the cue ball off the rail, and the right English will fire it up the table. And that's what he's done, is he got lucky. Well, that's as lucky as you're going to get, but Hazard's left with a difficult combo. The cue ball's close to the 3. He needs to bounce. Well, Witt should be trying to kill the cue ball on the rail there and punch the 3 up the table. Try and use that 9 for cover. That's the only option he's got here. And he's chickened out on it. He hasn't been through with the shot, and all he's done is just set up the 3. And Bill will probably draw this over to the left with the cue ball. rather than letting it run forward. You'll find the gap between the 8 and the 9. The only problem here is the angle is quite high on the 6. Now does Slim go up and down the table? That's probably the best plan here. He might be, I don't know whether he can hit the 9. Well, that was a good shot. Cue ball into the 9, stops it running up and down. And a nice angle for Bill in this 8. Don't underhit it, get the cue ball up to the middle pocket again, same as the last time. If you get the cue ball up there, Slim's got a shot in the 9, no problem. So from 5-3 down, Slim and Bill have taken their chances, and we've got a tied match again, 5 racks all. Now the 4 ball has gone into the left middle. Every other ball's got a pocket, and the first problem to deal with is this one. Now straight away you would think Slim has to take the bank into this bottom left hand corner as we look, because the cue ball once again's gone up to the 2. And that's a good shot. Now what's happened here, let's have a look at this 8 and 9. Well, that 8 doesn't go now. So that's the problem. I'm convinced it doesn't go. Oh dear, well, that must have been dead straight. So Hazard's now got ball in hand. Using a little bit of left English to punch the cue ball off the side rail up for the 5. Now Witt just needs to get the pace in this. It looks simple enough. Just pot the 5 and let the cue ball roll through. But the further he rolls through, the better. Makes it easier for his partner. And that should be fairly simple enough for Hazard. So the mistake was made, and ball in hand is all that Witt and Hazard needed there, and they're now sitting in the hill 6-5, and they have the break in rack number 12. Now what dropped in there? The 7. Nope, 7 balls still on the table. 3 balls gone, and Witt's looking at the 1-6 combo. He might as well have a bang at it. You never know. This for the match. Oh, not a bad effort. But, well, he's got away with it as well. That 2 balls just blocking off the 1. And Slim trying to punch the 1 away up the table. He's failed to do that. But Hazard has not got an easy shot here. He's going to have to get lots of top in this cue ball. Well, he's trying to dig down. What doesn't want to draw. Well, I don't know what he was doing there. Got to take your time. Use your shot clock and get yourself settled. He rushed into that too much. Sometimes some players are so desperate not to make a mistake, they rush into the shot and then make a complete hash of it anyway. You're better off using your shot clock when you've got one. Especially when you're 6-5 up. Well, here we go again. Well, this time, Witt is going to pot the 1 into the right middle and run down and back up the table if he can. I don't know. What kind of angles he got in this one? Let's have a look. Well, I think he can actually, if he plays this right, he can go off the end rail. If he plays it with a bit of right English, it'll straighten the cue ball up. He needs to avoid the 4. And he's managed to do that. So here's Hazard and Witt's chance to win the match. No problem here from the 2 to the 4. And likewise, Witt just needs to pot the 4. The cue ball's going over to the left off that right hand rail. And so that he doesn't put his partner under too much pressure. He doesn't want to finish here in the 5. I mean, if he finished there in the 5, that'd be better. Oh, what's he done here? Well, he's on the line, and that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. So, there we go. Hazard and Witt have taken out the favourites, and they're now moving to the 1-loss side. They have lost by 7 racks to 5 to Hazard and Witt. Right, so that's that match in. Let's just do a quick refresh on this thing. So the other match that they're waiting on is Black Jagged and Potman. Let's just dive into that, because I think Black Jagged and Potman are up 5-4 against Potman and Tin. Sorry, what am I saying? Potman and Black Jagged are playing Hustlin' Howie and Tin. And Team 2, which are Howie and Tin, are getting the 8 ball. Oh, I never noticed what I need to put on. Just give me a second to put this chat thing on to see when people are talking to me. Toggle timestamps. How long ago was that Dizzle typed that? That was 7 minutes ago. I missed that. Right, we're back up and running. Good evening, if you're still there. I just needed to put the timestamps on in my my stream so I could see when people are actually typing stuff. Well, that's not a good bank, this 8 ball. It does cut, no problem, but it's difficult judging the angle here for Tin. But his partner should have a simple enough shot in the 9. And it goes, so this 9 ball to square the match up. Oh, tell a lie, I've forgotten straight away, I forgot they're on the 8 ball as their money ball, so we are all square. Yeah, it's never long. It's never too long before I make a cock up and forget about the handicap. I do it every time. So we're at 5 racks all. Remember, the winner of this match is going to be playing Witt and Hazard, and of course the loser of this match is going to be playing Slim and Mr. Bill. That's a nice little safety. Now the one thing here is the fact that the 2 balls blocking any possibility of a 1-9 combo if Howie doesn't get a touch on this 1. Well, he's got the one. He's left it on though, but no real reason to be alarmed at the situation because the 3 and the 6 are tied up. So it's very unlikely that Potman and Black Jagged are going to run out here. And certainly from where Potman's potting this 2-ball, he's going to have next to no chance to do anything. The worst thing he can do is hook his partner in the 3, so he doesn't want to do that. He should probably just drop this 2 in. If he brings the cue ball down to this bottom end of the table, he's tried his best to create something out of nothing. And the saving grace is the fact that although he has nudged the 3, he's not left his partner hooked on it. But this could end up in a reasonable safety here if Black Jagged hits it hard enough to tuck it in behind the 4 and 5, and he's failed to get there. It's safe in the rail. Surely Tin's not going to try and cut this. Nope. Well, that's ended up okay. Potman's hooked. He's got an easy kick in the 3. Now if he hits this full in the face and stops the cue ball, he's hit it thin, and he's fluked to 5. And he's left his partner on the 3. Ah, well, that's the best outcome. He's Black Jagged's dead straight in the 3. Now the 4 goes past the 9, so this is where he's got to use his head here. If he just drops the 3 in, cue ball will roll through a fraction and at least give Howie a chance for the 4 past the 9. And in doing that, he's forgotten all about the 3. Not Howie, Potman. I'm mixing the teams up now as well as forgetting who's got the handicap. Well, here's the chance for Potman and Black Jagged. Easy enough to get on that 4. More than likely into the left middle. If he gets the cue ball out and up to the right. Well, he's done the worst thing. He hasn't gone through in the shot. The worst thing to do is to underhit it. You've got to overhit it. That cue ball should have been up there. Somewhere up there for a shot in the 4, and he's left it in the worst place you could leave it. And that was not a good shot by Potman. Black Jagged has dug him out a hole there, and it's up to Potman to back his partner up here and get this 6 ball. And he needs to dig into this 6 ball, because if he does, he can leave his partner behind the 9 for that 7. He needs to just get a bit of drag on it, stop the cue ball running away. What's he doing? Is he playing it pocket weight? If he does it that way, he'll be okay. He's got too much pace in it though, and that's the problem. He should have played the little draggy shot. But the 7's off the rail, the cut's still on. But the pressure's on as well. That needs to slow up. Well, the pressure's stacked on Potman here, because remember, Tin and Hustle and Howie have got this 8 ball as their extra money ball. And Potman, if he misses this, is going to have to get lucky to leave it safe. Oh dear. Well, Potman has Potman's bottle's gone. He's played a very poor positional shot in his last shot, and he's completely choked on that 8-ball. That's the worst shot I've seen tonight. And a complete gift. So, Tin and Hustling Howie are on the hill, 6-5 up. Tin going to break off in rack number 12. I still think Potman's problem half the time is trying not to make mistakes, and the more he tries not to make mistakes, the more mistakes he makes. But those two shots that we've seen there, I mean, they are poor, and he knows that. Well, the one cuts. What about this 2-ball though? Well, the good thing there is it clipped to 7. And the 2-ball goes down the rail, but let's have a look at it. It's off the rail by a couple of millimetres. Now, if this ends up really lucky and the cue ball doesn't run too far, which it has done, that could have been a possible 3, 6, 8 combo. Now, Hustling Howie, you're 6-5 up, you've got a good chance of a good safety here. What's the point in playing the bank when you can't get on the 4 from that angle? And he's not went through with the shot either. Well, it is a chance for Potman. Well, let's see if he can redeem himself here. He's got a cut in the 3. It's not the most difficult shot in the world, but the cue ball, if he gets the pace right, should be on the 4. And a little nudge in the 7 might help. Let's have a look. Well, that's okay. And Black Jagged hit that far too hard. Well, here we go. Hustling Howie on the 5-ball. Let's check his angle. Well, he just needs to stun this 5 in, or he can run down off the end rail, but he's going to try and have to get this as straight as he can. Oh dear. He wasn't really convincing me he was confident there, but he's done his best to try and hold it, but he's way short. The Tin is going to have to pick his hit point on the 6 and try and make that combo on the 8 for the match. And he's played it well. So Tin and Hustling Howie have won the match by 7 racks to 5. And we've seen 2 or 3 pretty poor shots in that match from what we saw in it. And so now we have Black Jagged and Potman playing Mr. Bill and One Pocket Slim. Let's check the brackets updated. And Tin and Howie are going to play Wit and Hazard for the hot seat. So we've got 2 players in that room. Now it'll be interesting to see what the handicap will be. I think it might be a scratch match, that one. I don't think there's an awful lot between the four players. So the four players are in. Let's dive in. And exactly as I thought, oh no, wait a minute, team 1's got the 6 ball. Well, I think Witt and Azad had the 6 ball in their match, did they? Maybe not. But anyway, Witt and Azad are now under pressure. Because they're now given the 6 ball, money ball, to Tin and Hustlin' Howie. They've won the lag. Witt's going to break off. Two ball goes in, 3 ball gets nudged in. That 1 ball could possibly squeeze in off the 8. You would think you'd have to play this really delicate just so that it almost hit the point of that jaw there and then clips off the 8 to go in. But Azad has thought of something different. He's not got it safe. So remember, it's Tin and Hustlin' Howie getting the 6 ball. So straight away they've got a chance to get off and running. And if that just nudges the 6, well, two choices. You play the cut shot. The cut shot is going to be the easier one, simply because if he plays the pot into the top right hand corner, he's going to be probably hampered more by the fact that the angle's a lot more difficult to read. And he didn't get the cut. And is that going to nudge into the 8? Well, Witt can certainly drop the 4 in, no problem. The only problem he does have is he'd ideally want to get to the right side of this 5, and that's a good shot. Got the pace nice. Now Hazard can just roll through in the 5 and leave the 6 into the right middle. He doesn't need to do anything elaborate. And he's running the cue ball up the table, which wasn't the shot. Well, now Witt, I think, is dead straight in the 6 pretty much. He's going to try and have to get the cue ball in behind the 7. And Hazard is now faced with a similar shot we spoke about the last time. And he squeezed it in off the 8. So simple enough now for Witt and Hazard to take the lead. Try break. Well, up in that top right hand corner is where the cue ball should be finishing up here. Why Tin is playing shots like that far too hard? I mean, I always worry and wonder about what people's thinking are when you look at the lay of the balls and you look at where the cover is. He's just played, I don't know what he played, but anyway, he's just left it wide open. A simple safety to use those balls as cover get that cue ball up into the top right hand corner. The 3, the 6 and the 8 were sitting there just to hide behind. Well, it'll be just punishment here if Witt and Azad can run this table to the 6 ball. Well, this is where you don't mess about. You play the cut on the 5 with enough pace for that cue ball to come off this bottom rail and back up into the table, but nowhere on the right hand side. Well, he's not hit it, but he needs to slow up. And now his partner has got a tester. Looks simple enough, but when you know it's your money ball for the rack, tell a lie, they're team 2. I've forgotten again. I've forgotten again. Oh dear. It's team 1 that's got the handicap. That needs to just slow up as well. A little soft draw off the 8 is what's required here. And that was exactly what Hazard played. Slight cutback for Witt, but in all honesty, he should never miss this. So it's 2-0 to Witt and Hazard. Witt breaking off rack number 3. Seven ball goes in. 5 ball followed in after it. A little gentle 1-2 combo here. Well, even though the 2's further off the rail than the 1, that 2's still going to go. You've just got to play it gentle enough so the 1 ball doesn't run away. Well, gentle isn't in Hazard's vocabulary. He's riding in luck to get position in the 1, and that's what you can't do in pool or any kind of billiard game. You have to actually think about what you're doing. He's got lucky, he's left his partner a shot in the 1, but you're never going to be successful when you have that way of playing. And now they're out of shape here. Hazard's left with not the easiest of shots, because he has to make sure he doesn't block his partner out on this 4 ball. And that 9 might come into play, and it has done. And he's gone far enough, but it's now an awkward cut. And once again, Witt has to avoid the 9. This is how simple it is to get yourself out of shape. And you'll start doing that when you start playing the wrong shots. And once again, he's got lucky, clipped to 9, came around and clipped to 6, but left his partner on it. So it looks like Hustlin' Howie and Tin are going to have to get their act together, but in all honesty, so far they haven't had any chance. It's been all Hazard and Witt so far, but with a 6 ball money ball, this match could turn in a spin if Hustlin' Howie and Tin can take whatever chances they might get. Well, 6 ball Well, there's the danger ball straight away. Hazard and Witt have broken off. They've come up dry. And the 6 ball is hanging over the pocket. And that needs to be dealt with. Oh dear. Oh, hustling Howie. Not a great shot. Oh, Witt's got a very thin cut in the 1. But the cue ball's going nowhere near the 2. He's decided to play the safety. But it's not safe. There is a thin cut on the 1. And you would think where that 6 ball is, Tin and Howie have to somehow get to there. At 3-0 down, they're going to have to work hard to get through this rack. And once again, Tin's done nothing with the cue ball. He's just punched the 1 into the table. Well, that's, again, extremely tight if it was ever going to get past that 3. Well, Tin said he's got no idea what happened there. I think he actually had no idea what he was doing, let alone whatever the end result was going to be. And Howie, well, it's worked out. He's got the cover, an easy kick. Now this is where Witt has to be careful here. Now he needs to play this, well, I was going to say play it gentle because he didn't want to send that 1 ball anywhere up the table towards that 6. He's completely missed it. The combo can't be played because the 5 and the 9 are in the way. That's the one saving grace there. Now, don't tell me Tin's going to try and cut the 1 and send the cue ball down towards the 6 and try and pot the 6. That's what he tried. All he's done is has left the table wide open. So wrong side of the 1 for Hazard. You have to get a lot into the cue ball to get it running around the table here. Well, that's going to finish between the 5 and the 9. That's not bad. Let's see, can he get the cutting angle on that too? I don't think he can, but he can certainly bank the 2 up the table. It's going to go near the 3. Well, there you go. That's the danger of playing that shot. So hustling Howie surely cannot miss this 2-6 combo to get off the mark. Whenever you get a ball like that hanging over the pocket and it's your opponent's money ball, you must always make sure you don't do anything to set something up for them, and that's exactly what happened. So it's 3-1 to Witt and Hazard. Two ball has gone in. And the 1 ball's blocked out by the 9. Well, hustling Howie should just play the push out here. And that was a crazy shot. So ball in hand for Hazard and Witt, but why Howie tried to... He didn't get enough right spin on that to come in behind that to hit the 1, so again, just a gift for his opponents. Probably not the wisest shot to have played when you're trailing 3-1. But Hazard and Witt are going to have to deal with the 5 ball. And it looks as if it's going to either be a billiard from the 5 on to the 7. And Witt's looking at the billiard. He needs to play this gentle. He doesn't want to let the 5 run away. And that was well played. Make sure he isn't behind the knuckle here. Oh dear. Well, how unlucky is that? Right on the point of the jaw. And after having played a good shot there, that was very unfortunate to leave it lying like that. I'll tell you what, that's not a bad hit from Hazard. Unlucky though. I had to mute the mic there before I sneezed all the way through YouTube. So, from 3-0 down, it's going to be 3-2. And the 6 ball money ball's coming into play now. And Tins blasted the cue ball off the table. The 3 ball went into the top left. And ball in hand for Witt. Just a wee bit too strong. Had the right idea there. Now, what's going to happen with this 4 ball though? Well, if he gets the cue ball up into the middle of the table, his partner's got a chance of a 4-9 combo. That's probably about their best bet here to have any shot. And it needs to keep going. And it's fell short. Tin went for the combo. No joy. But not an easy shot for Witt. If he's going to cut the 4, that cue ball's going to have to do an awful lot of travelling. What the hell happened there? I don't know what happened there. Well, he's done his best. Hazard's got a very thin cut in the 5. And that cue ball needs to bounce a bit. It needs to keep going. Well, Witt's probably more inclined to play the bank. The only thing that can cause problems is that 9 ball. He's played the bank. He's missed it. And that's gone safe. Now, does he think he can cut that in? He's went for it. Is the 9 going to help him here? No, it isn't. Well, that is a gift. So this for 3-all. Now what have we lost there? 7-ball has gone. 4 and a 5 are tied up. Six ball has gone in, and all of a sudden it's 4-3. That was a good shot. Played the billiard. Got it right. 6-ball right along the rail into the corner. And from 3-0 down, Tin and Hustlin' Howie have got themselves into the lead. Well, we're assuming he played it. Well, these balls are all open. They're all there. First problem is this 1 ball. Oh, is he going in a scratch? Oh dear. Scratched in the right middle. That was always the danger at that angle. So ball in hand for Hustlin' Howie. Just needs to roll the 2 in, find the gap between the 4 and the 8. So now everything's wide open for them. And Tin should just roll the 3 in. In fact, if he comes off that side rail a bit, well, maybe the angle wasn't the angle I thought he had there, but he's left a cut back here for Hustlin' Howie. Well, let's see if he can hold his nerve. He's played a couple of dodgy shots. But in it goes. And he's left his partner a simple enough shot in the 5. The only thing that will go wrong here is his Tin's playing this with left English, and that cue ball could run into the 9, and he's avoided it. But he's left his partner a pressure pot in the 6. But it's the money ball. So this to go into a 2-rack lead. And that was well done. So now Witt and Azad, from looking comfortable at 3 racks to 0, the 6-ball money ball has made a huge difference now. It's now 5-3 to Hustlin' Howie and Tin, and that has stacked a lot of pressure on Hazard and Witt, because they, you know, when they get a chance, if they do, they've got to run them out. And it's a question of whether they can hold their nerve to actually do that. I would suggest that the odds are against them. Well, there's a danger straight away. We've got a possible 4-6 combo sitting there. It's easy enough to make it. the chances are here Witt could actually run into that 4 and 6. Which he's done. But all he's done now is opened up the 4, which is actually good, provided Hazard can get the 3 and get his partner on that 4. Oh dear. And mistakes like that are what's going to lose you this match, because now Tin and Howie just have to get the 3, that 4, the 5, which is all in the open. But no shot in the 4. But if Howie can get his touch here, he can leave Witt and Hazard in a lot of trouble. It needs a delicate little feather to brush past the 4 and hook them behind the 6. Well, it's safe, but it's not a hook. Well, that's not a bad finish. That was a good shot. Let's have a look. I would have thought it's easier to hit that 4 off that short rail. Well, he's got it in the long one, but just left the 4 on. Now, I think he might have to bend that a little. Oh, he's managed to squeeze it. Of course, the 7 is in no great position, and it's not a combo with the 9, although it can be made. And that cue ball needs to keep running. If it ran right into the rail there, Hazard would have had a better chance, but he's still got the other angle. It's all about potting the 6. The cue ball's going to go over to the right. He's got to watch the weight of the shot though. Well, that's probably as good as he could expect, but the combo is easy enough to be made. And he's got to cut that 7 ball so that it's going that way, and it makes that connection with the 9 to nudge it in. That's it in theory. Let's see if we can pull it off. And he's played it well. Got it exactly as described. And Hazard and Witt are back to trailing by just the 1. Now, let's have a quick look and see what's happening in that 1 loss side. Black Jagged and Popman and Mr. Bill and Slim are tied at 4-all. We'll nip in and see what's happening there, because it's a race to 5, remember. And we've just come in at the wrong time. Mr. Bill and Slim have won the match by 5 racks to 4. And we will jump back in to the match we were watching. So now Mr. Bill and Slim are waiting on the loser of this match on the 1 loss side. Well, that little nudge in the 9 there has done Hazard a favour. Plenty of room to get behind that 9 and get on that 6 ball. Anything but straight. Well, there's a slight angle there, but it's not a good angle. There's not enough there. That's why he's played the draw. Once again, this is a type of shot where all you worry about is potting the 7. The cue ball is going to do the natural thing. That was well done. And now Witt should just be drawing back off that 8 and try and leave his partner straight on the 9. And that's not bad. So this to tie the match at 5 racks all. And it's going to be Witt breaking off in rack number 11. Well, the 5 ball has gone. Hazard can barely see a thin edge on that 1. But if he can get it with a bit of right English, he can run that cue ball up the table. No, I don't think he can. No. So he's just looking for the push out. Well, all he's done there is he's left a 1-4 combo. This is a thing I keep talking about as well. Whenever you're playing a push out, you've got to think about exactly what you're doing. Well, Hustling how he's had a go at it, and he's got it safe. Bank the 1 back towards the 8 ball and run the cue ball up the table. That's the shot I'd be playing. Well, he's tried to use the 4 as cover, but the 2s actually came to the rescue. Well, if he tries to cut this one down the rail, I think the 3 ball is what's going to prevent the cue ball scratching. We just decided to play the safety. Probably the wisest move there. Oh dear. Well, how he went for the combo. Witt and Hazard. I've got another dangerous situation to deal with here. We know that the 6 ball is tin and Hustling Howie's extra money ball. And Witt and Hazard have to deal with that. Now this is important that Witt gets this right, because if he's playing the pot, the worst thing's going to happen here is he's going to leave his opponents a shot for that 1-6 combo. He's got the 1. Now Hazard has got a really tough shot in the 2, but he's got to play the 2 and try and cut that onto the 6, which he's done. And in goes the 2 as well. Now can Witt cut that 3 and hit the knuckle? If he hits the point, he won't scratch. Well, he wasn't risking it. He just tried to punch it around the table. The 10's going to have a shot in the 3, albeit hampered by that 7 ball. And he didn't take his time. Rushed into that far too quickly. How he could line himself up that quick, I don't know. That's not a bad outcome. So now the 6 ball has gone. So that means that Howie and Tin would have to run the table to win the rack. So here's the first crucial shot, potting the 7 and getting his partner good on this 8 ball. And that's not bad. Same scenario as usual, don't finish there. Finish here or here. At least it gives you a better cut. Where's the cue ball going? That'll do. So Hazard knocks in the 9. It's Hazard and Witt that go to the hill, leading 6-5. And Witt has passed his break to his partner. And Hazard's going to break off in rack number 12. No ball has gone down. Hustling Howie. Just needs to leave his partner on the 2, which he's done. The 3 goes past the 7, no problem. But Tin's been left dead straight in this 2. There's not much he can do. Needs to slow up a bit. It's gone too far, I think. But that's a good bank on the 3. It's probably a dead set bank, that 3 ball. And in goes the 3, but no shot in the 4. Now Tin, well, I presume he tried to play a combo into the 5, but that was like asking for miracles. He could have possibly come off the right edge of that 4 and try and spin the cue ball down to where the 6 and the 8 ball was. The only risk was the fact there's a strong risk of a double kiss on the 4 ball, but it probably would have been worth taking the risk of doing that rather than what he tried there. But anyway, Hazard and Witt have their chance to win the match. So it's going to have to be a gentle 6-8 combo, unless Witt's going to just try and ride his luck here and somehow leave his partner on the 6 ball. Well, the shot is there. And in goes the 6. And they should be home and dry. The worst mistake Witt will do is running that cue ball over here. He'd be better over hitting this so it comes over and out. Well, he's got it right. He played it exactly the right pace. He's left his partner a fairly straight 9 ball for the match. And in it goes, and Hazard and Witt have beaten Hustlin' Howie and Tin by 7 racks to 5. So that now means that Wit and Azad are in tonight's final, and it's a winner takes all final. The winners get 480 $480. We're going to have the one loss side match between One Pocket Slim and Bill, who are now going to play Tin and Hustling Howie to see who gets to the final. I'm just going to get my bottle of water for a wee drink. So we're waiting on, I think it's Hustlin' Howie we're waiting on. Just a reminder that all players have to be in the room, I think, within 5 minutes of the room going up. Each player will get an audible warning to let them know that the room is up. And should any one of them fail to get in the room within that time, they will forfeit the match. Well, here's hoping that Hustlin' Howie is just taking a bathroom break or something, and he hasn't forgotten that he's still got a match. Well, here we go. We're all in now. So both players lagging off. Mr. Bill is the player on the right, I know that. So Tin has won the lag. Now Team 2, Tin and Hustlin' Howie, are getting the 7 and out. So that's the 7 and 8 ball are their extra money balls. And well, the thing with this match is you'd expect Mr. Bill and One Pocket Slim to be less likely to leave Tin and Hustlin' Howie chances on the 7, 8 and 9. They're much more likely to run out if they get an open table. So the pressure is on Hustlin' Howie and Tin to make good use of that 7 and out that they're getting. Remember, it's only a race to 5. And straight away, Bill's missed the 1 ball. And a bad one from Tin. Now that 2 ball is finished awkward, but this is exactly the position that you would expect Mr. Bill and Slim to take their opportunity. Now provided Slim can get this 2 ball, and get his partner on the 3, they have a strong chance of running out. But this is a toughie to start with. He's overcut it. Now the opposite for Howie and Tin. They're the guys that have got an open table, and I have to say it would be, well, Howie's missed that by a country mile. I was about to say they've got a, you know, a sort of a fair to middling chance of running out, but you can't miss 2 balls like that. And I think Howie is feeling a bit of pressure. And Mr. Bill has played a really poor one again. So here is Howie and Tin's second chance. Now this has got to be gentle. And he played that with a lot of right-hand English. He's checked it back just a little bit more than he would like, but it's still a shot. So here is the important one. Now this is the wrong side of the 5 for Howie to get to that 6 ball. And he's either overdone it or underdone it, but either way, Tin's got no shot to 6. And that was their chance gone. And Tin's got to get lucky here. Well, it'd have been easier to kick off the rail into that 6 than trying to spin around. Clip to 6 but scratch, so surely Slim and Bill have got to take this out now. Ball in hand. Just drop between the 8 and 9 with the cue ball and leave his partner on the 7 into the left middle. Well, he's went the other side, he's left it long. Well, to me that's made it a lot more difficult. It's heaped the pressure on Bill straight away here with this one. He can take it into the middle and run down to the bottom of the table, which he's done. But it could have been a lot easier. Well, this should be simple enough. Just pot the 8 and let the cue ball do what it does. Get it into the middle of the table for the 9. Well, Tin and Howie are maybe not going to get an awful lot of chances, but they threw away 2 chances there. And they're 1-0 down. 3 balls going in. And Bill's going to have a cut on the 1. Well, this is a run out, provided Bill can get the 1 and get his partner on that 2. If he does that, I would think this rack is over. He's not got there. Even in this position, Bill and Slim are thinking that these 2 guys can't run out. But if Tin just rolls the 2 in and goes off that top rail and back out, he's got his partner on the 4. And he's a mile away there. Oh dear, he's got lucky, but my goodness me, that was a poor shot in the 2. Didn't get anywhere near the jaws of the pocket. So the kick for Slim, and he's missed the kick in a 2. And another chance for Hustling Howie and 10. Ball in hand. And what is he doing here? Yeah, just run through on the 2. Leave the 4 in the middle. Well, you drop the 5 in and you leave that 6 ball into the right middle pocket. So you drop it in and a little bit of spin, you can go sort of there and leave that 6 into the middle, because the cue ball then goes down for the 7, which is going to be the money ball. And he's almost got there. He's on the line on the 6. So Tin just needs to roll the 6 in and not roll through too far, and he's going to be in danger with that 8 ball, and he's managed to avoid it. So this to tie the match. So for once, Tin and Howie have actually taken a chance and won a rack. I think the what ball? The 4 ball. 4 ball has gone. Well, the cut is on the 1. And what's Howie doing? Why is he not playing the cut shot? He's trying to bank it across. Well, he's got the bank, but he's left his partner hooked in the 2, I think. Yeah. And the worst outcome, scratch. So that ended up in an untidy mess there. So ball in hand, and the first big obstacle is going to have to be dealt with by Bill, and he's got to be accurate here. He's going to run through and try and find a gap between the 8 and 9, and he's just got there. Bill's got another pressure shot, not only potting the 5 but controlling that cue ball to give his partner a shot in the 6 from this bottom rail, and that's not easy, but he's played a good shot. And you would think this is just going to be a gentle cut. And the angles there, Bill can actually just drop the 7 in as well. If he just drops it in, the cue ball's going to stay over on the right hand side, and Slim will have an angle in the 8 to cut it into that top left as we look. He could go across and try and get in behind it the other side. Oh dear me. Well, there's a gift. I think Bill was worrying about the pace on the 7 to try and hold the cue ball, and he's completely forgotten about the 7. So it's a gift for Howie and Tin. They're up 2-1, and remember, it's only a race to 5. on the one lost side. Seven balls gone in. Cue balls gone in as well though. Immediately, with ball in hand, Slim and Bill have a chance, but the problem we can see is up there. The 6 and the 3 are stuck together, and the 3 isn't going anywhere up there at the moment. Well, Slim fancies a chance at the 1-9 combo again. Probably worth the effort of going for it because the 3 and 6 are tied up. He could end up opening them up, but he's played it well. So that's a quick rack to retrieve the situation, and we're back all square. Well, this time, no joy. But once again, the table is wide open for Tin and Howie. Well, the 3 goes past the 6, so it's all about weight of shot. If he just goes a bit atop and goes through it and lets that cue ball run back down the table towards us, he can leave his partner on the 3 and into that top right corner pocket. Played it with inside English, he's played it well. Tin's leaving it long for his partner, but it's long and straight. Simple enough to do. And that was extremely nervy by Howie, and he's really showed it. But he's either playing with English on the cue ball and doesn't realise it, or he's certainly not lining his shot up, because on a fairly straight shot like that, it's the only way you can miss it. So Bill and Slim have a gift of a chance, and there shouldn't be any heroics here because the 7 goes into the middle, so just a little delicate one in the 6 ball and get that cue ball off the end rail and over to the right for the 7 into this middle pocket. How is he on this 8 ball? Well, needs to watch the draw. He's played it well. So Bill has a straight in 9 to go 3-2 up. Eight ball goes in the break. And not an easy starter, but the one's wide open and the table's wide open, and I think we've yet to see Bill and Slim actually run a rack. I don't recall them actually doing it, but they're not going to get a better opportunity than this one. The firm stunt to get the cue ball out into the table. Bill's entirely the wrong side of the 3 now. The only problem is that 5 ball. If Bill can pot the 3 and get round behind that 5, which he has done, he's overhit it by a mile though. And now Slim's going to have to dig out a nasty thin cut in this 4, or he plays the bank. He's going to have to make the bank though, because it's not set. And another good shot. Bill with a lot of left hand inside English to check the cue ball up. Slim can just drop in behind the 7. So this rack's all over. And more importantly for Bill and Slim, it takes him to within 1 of getting to the final. And of course they're going to be breaking off in the next rack as well. So it's 4-2 to Bill and Slim. It's gone dry, but it's gone safe. There's an easy kick here for Tin. If he kicks off, if he comes off the rail and kicks the 1 and hits it full, he can punch that 1 up the table and leave the cue ball somewhere at roundabout in here. Oh, that was awful. Well, Slim's, he's actually looking at a 1-9 bank here. This bank's into the middle pocket. I think he's trying to, or is he trying to play it safe, or is he looking to make the bank? There you go. Game over. That was an excellent shot, but it was almost set, and it was well played by Slim. And that was a great shot to win the match. And Bill and Slim win by 5 racks to 2. So now we have tonight's final, which is going to be between Wit and Hazard and Mr. Bill and One Pocket Slim. And we're just waiting on the players getting in the room. So 3 players are in, we're waiting on 1 arriving. So the final's going to be a race to 7. And there's going to be a reasonable handicap in this as well. So here we are, Mr. Bill once again. This time he's on the left hand side of this table. And the only reason I know that is I know that's Bill's cue. That was a horrible lag by Bill. He needs to get some practice on his lag. And the reason for that is also the fact that since Bill got beat by Mofo the Pat in the US Open As soon as he lost that match and was out the tournament, he was gone. And he's been out of VP4 for probably best part of a month. So he hasn't had a lot of game time since then. So anyway, Team 1, Hazard and Witt are getting the 6 ball. Yeah, this is a rematch from the first round match. I just realised that, because they were getting the 6 ball in the first match as well. Good evening. Franco's been and gone. So the miscue has given Hazard and Witt ball in hand. Let's have a look at that 4 ball. Well, that 4 ball cuts no problem. Or does it? I'm convinced it does cut. You can just get the edge on it, but you've got to get the cue ball in the right place to be able to do that. And probably from where the donut is, that there would be ideal. That's actually pretty good. I don't think it can be a foul. He's got to get this thin enough to make that pot though. Well, he's doing plenty of thinking about it. And eventually the 4 has gone in. Oh dear, he's fouled. He hasn't got it clean. Now, it's ball in hand for Slim and Bill. Well, it was difficult to say, but it looked as if that could cut. But he tried to pinch too much and ended up hitting the 7 ball first. And Bill just needs to find the gap between the 8 and the 9 and go wide enough to leave Slim the cut angle on that 7. Oh, what's he done here? Oh, he's okay. Has he? I thought he was going to go too far. Yeah, Franco was here, got bored and left. Well, the 7 ball has gone in. Remember, the finals are race to 7. And Bill and Slim are going to get off the mark first. So Bill breaks off in rack number 2. It's come up dry. Well, the angle that's on this 2 ball, Witt's going to have to play this with a lot of right hand inside English to check the cue ball, stop it running away. And he's played it more or less pocket weight, but he's going to leave his partner a fairly straight 3. But how does he get on the 4? Well, he's managed to play that well. It was straight enough to actually just play the little draw. Once again though, Witt's got it all to do to get on the 5. It looks as if he's going to draw into that 9. Oh, he's managed to avoid that as well, but just didn't get into it enough. Well, this is a bank. Got to play it. It looks as if he's running for cover. But he's hit it too hard. And cue balls come out. And it's another chance here for Bill and Slim to steal this one. All about getting on that 6 ball. And it misses a 6. I'm getting tired. It's after 9 o'clock. Body clock is telling me to get to bed again. I got that Elite Dangerous and I can't get my head round it. I actually got it, it was on offer on Steam and I got it, and I think it was an hour on the tutorial before I actually got the bloody spaceship out of the space station. Yeah, it's got loads of controls, but the thing is I'm only using the Xbox controller, and see, the biggest complaint I've got about the game is the fact that you only get the prompts on the screen when you're actually doing a tutorial to tell you what buttons to press. And when those prompts aren't there, it's trying to remember the combination of buttons to press to get the bloody thing to do something. At the moment I quit the game, I'm trying to get to another planet, but the problem is I'm blocked behind another planet. I can't actually, what do you call it, put it into sort of warp drive to get to the planet because I'm blocked out. So at the moment I'm in the middle of flying round this other planet that's blocking my path. So here we are in rack number 3. Slim hooked dead and buried behind a 2 ball, and the 1 ball's hidden behind a 4. This will be a good shot to get anywhere near that 1. Well, Wit with ball in hand can put Slim and Bill under pressure. He could have went for the 3 fills. It's an easy hook right behind that 4. But Wit must be fancying the run out. Well, they've got to back themselves here. And an easy chance to put Bill in trouble. Refused that. And straight away Hazard's the wrong side of the 2. Far too much angle on it. And he's having to cut it back, and the cue ball's running up into the top left hand corner and probably hit the 6. Or maybe even find a gap. Well, he's played it as gentle as he can, and he's held it for the 3. Aye, the Super Cruise thing, aye. Yeah, well, the problem is the other destination that I've got targeted is right stuck in the middle of the planet that I'm stuck behind. I tried the tutorial for the buggy thing, because I've got Elite Dangerous and I've got the Horizons package that came with it. And I tried the tutorial for the buggy thing, so I'd landed on this planet. I'll tell you, I spent an hour and a half trying to get the hang of that bloody scoop thing, the cargo scoop, and trying to pick up you break up a bit of asteroid to try and pick up the minerals, and it was an hour and a half to get the bloody thing to work. Oh, landing's hilarious. I mean, I've bounced about that bloody spaceship trying to get the thing to land and getting warnings from the tannoy telling you you're making an arse of the thing, and fucking Christ. I was pressing buttons. I ended up bringing the weapons up inside the bloody space station, and of course you get a fine for doing that shit. So the only thing that would help a lot of folk is that if you can have prompts on and off, like lots of games have, like even VP4's got them to tell you what buttons to press. Just a reminder for folk like me who haven't a clue what they're doing. The tutorial's fine because the prompt comes up and says, do this to launch, do this to do that. But then once you've got all that by way and you're thrown straight into the game, you haven't a bloody clue what you're doing. That's probably why most folk give up on it. So it's 2 racks to 1 to Slim and Bill, and Hazard and Wit have a great chance here to get themselves all square. But immediately the problem's the 5 ball blocked off by the 9. Is it going to be a 5-9 combo? Oh, he's gone too far. Again, misjudged the pace, overhit that by a 1.5 feet. And now Hazard's going to have to line up the fact he should basically line up the pot, and he's played it dead on. And we're back to 2 racks all. No, the thing is, that type of game, there's no way I would go online with it, because all you're doing is a sit and duck for the bullies that are out there that just want to fucking tear you apart. I'm looking for another good space game. Something where you can get out the thing and go and explore the planets, and something on the same scale as Elite Dangerous. Where's the cue ball going? Well, that was odds on at that angle, that the cue ball was going to go dangerously close to the middle pocket. Now Hazard and Wit, same again, ball in hand. He's just going to push through in the 4, or he can stun it, which he's done. The ones I've kept an eye on are Star Citizen and that, what do you call it, Dual Universe one. But, I mean, we're talking about probably, you could be another 2 years away before they see the light of day. There was another game that I somehow stumbled across. I can't remember what it's called. I think it begins with a... No, I'll tell you what it was. It was called Dreadnought. And it was, it says free to play, so I downloaded it and installed it. And I gave that 15 minutes before it got binned. So Witt and Hazard lead by 3 racks to 2. Well, the shot is on. Hazard is on the 2. Now, if he can get this cue ball anywhere up by the middle pocket, it at least gives his partner a chance of a 3-9 combo. Well, believe it or not, it's actually still on. I don't think he expected to end up there, but he's left him a cut. Well, this will be a good shot if he makes this, because it's nowhere near lined up at all. But he's got to hit this firm. He can't hit it gentle because he doesn't want to leave the 9 hanging. And in the end, he's not only not made the combo, he didn't even get the 3 to hit the 9. Now, are you sober right now? Because I'm sure you'll not remember half the things you're typing. My days off are Wednesday and Thursday. But in the moment, I'm actually in the middle of a trip on Eurotruck on the harsh Russian map that I've still to finish. So Mr. Bill and Slim at the table, trailing 3-2, and a gilt-edge opportunity here to get this match tied up again. Now that 8 ball goes past the 9, no problem. No problem you're looking straight down the barrel at it. But it's got to be a good shot. And Bill's in the ideal position here on this 7 ball. Well, he's actually the wrong side of the 7. He's just going to try and get onto the rail. And that's about as good as he could do. But you could get the old London bus past that 9 ball. Where's the cue ball? Slim's done it again. He stunned it into the pocket, and there's the gift. He didn't need to dig down into that. He could have just let it run. And the cue ball, there was the angle there for the cue ball to come back off the end rail back up for the 9. I don't know why he thought he had to draw it. So Hazard Witt have been given a gift. They're leading by 4 racks to 2. They're at the table. The table once again is wide open. It's about manoeuvring the cue ball all the basics of what you need to do in the game of billiards. And if you can do that, you can run the table. But when you've got the 6 ball as your money ball, all you need to do is roll the 5 in and leave the 6 down the rail. So now Bill and Slim are under the cosh, backs to the wall, trailing 5 racks to 2. Well, Bill should probably be looking at a safe here. Now, the question is, did he play to pot that one, or did he play to get it safe? If he played it to get it safe, he's played a great shot. I think we need to hear what Bill has to say as to whether he actually went for that pot there. But Witt's got the right idea, and that's a good shot. I don't think he's completely hooked him on it, but it's a pretty good effort. Yes, it looks as if he's well hooked. So this is a crucial kick on this one. You can certainly spin into it off the end rail. I don't think you can get right in behind the one to punch it up the table. No, he actually hit it on the way up. So the little 1-3 combo by Hazard. Once again, this is where you slow down, you assess the situation, what you do, what's the simplest thing you can do in order to run this rack. Now the important one here for Hazard is to try and leave his partner as straight as he can on that 4. Let's have a look. Well, that's not bad, but Witt needs to make sure he runs through and finds that gap. He's probably better running through to the rail and letting it bounce. Because if he overhits it slightly, then at least he's found a gap between the 6 and the 9. Let's see if he manages it. And he's played it perfect. Because Hazard's got a nice little angle. He's putting left-hand English. He didn't want to get too much on it. He's put far too much on it. You see, that shot there is somebody that didn't use the angle that he already had, if you know what I mean. The angle was there in the 6 just to play it plain ball and let the cue ball do the stuff. He put left English on it to encourage it to go around the angle, but that left English just meant it was going to do an awful lot more. That was just a really bad shot. Well, they fluked to 6, but this is something that I was discussing with one of the other players who will remain nameless, but I've been playing quite a lot with him in double games of Cowboy and stuff, and I've been trying to get him to think about the angle that he's already got. Now, that was a perfect example there by Hazard, where he had the perfect angle to push that 5 in and let the cue ball come off the rail and up onto that 6. For some reason, he thought he needed to help that cue ball go around, and he put left English on it. All it's going to do is fizz off the rail to the side rail and up, and end up square in the 6, which is what happened. And there's a lot of players seem to want to use English all the time, when the angle very often is already there if you just let the cue ball do what it does. You know, if a cue ball is going to go to the rail at 45-degree angle, it's going to bounce off the rail at 45-degree angle as well. It's a basic thing you need to learn. learning to know when to use the English and when not to use it. Because all of that is what helps you actually play positional play. Anyway, it's 6-2 to Hazard and Witt. They got themselves out of a hole, got a bit lucky, but they're on the hill, and Bill and Slim are at the point of no return. But they look as if they're going to win this one. Having said that, Slim's playing this 6 ball over the 8. Now he needs to watch he doesn't get any unwanted English on this cue ball. He can easily spin that 6 ball away to the left jaw. Well, the 7 is hiding behind a 9, but Bill's got to go for it. And that's a well-controlled shot. Absolutely pinpoint perfect on the 8 ball. Right, I'll see you later. I'll be online on Wednesday and Thursday. Well, we've got a bit of an ugly table, but there's a 2-7 billiard on anyway next. Hazard looking to keep it tight. And this is where, when you're 6-3 up, you don't need to take the initiative right now. Well, that's going to bounce out. So here's a chance. Now, if Witt can get this cue ball, if he actually got it somewhere like there, it's an easy 2-7 billiard. Get the cue ball off the 2 onto the 7, and then just ride your luck that you're going to have a shot in the 2. Well, he's overhit that again by a mile, and then ended up absolutely nowhere. Now, why Witt didn't see that, I don't know. That's the thing that's got me puzzled. You just have enough weight to get the cue ball anywhere there, anywhere up in these angles, or where you can play the billiard on to the 2, to the 7. Well, in the end, poor Hazard could only have a kick, and he actually wasn't far off the billiard, but not good thinking by Witt. So Slim just looking to play for the 3 fouls, because the 3 and the 8's tied up and there's no way he could get to split the 3 and the 8, so he might as well just tuck the cue ball in behind the 5. And the worst thing that Witt can do here is having a bang at that too. He just wants to try and play this dead weight to the 2, because he doesn't want to split the 3 and the 8. That's a fatal mistake. And this is why you have to keep your wits about you, Witt. And he's hit the 2, and he's left it reasonably safe. And it's really going to be down to a 3-ball game, sorry, a 2-ball game, because the 3 and 4 are easy enough to make as a combo. Well, I say easy enough, but where Bill's finished there, he's got his partner in trouble. And this match could be over in a minute or 2. Now, what does Slim do? He's probably better rolling the 8 onto the 3 and the 4 and tying them up. Oh, he's managed to play the combo. It's a good shot. 10 out of 10 for that one. But the 6 and the 8 are now almost tied up. I think the 6 does go. Or does it? Let's have a look. Yes, it does go. But it only goes from a certain position. Oh dear, what the hell's happened here? Well, Slim's going to have to work his magic here because he's corner hooked on the 5. If he doesn't get it, it could be all over. Well, that's nudged the 9 out into play, made the 9 a lot easier. So here's the crucial one. It's all about getting that cue ball over to the left. And that looks pretty good to me. And that's a good shot and a simple straight in 6 for the match. So Witt and Hazard have won this week's 9-ball Scotch doubles. They've beaten Slim and Mr. Bill in the final by 7 racks to 3. And that is it, folks. Thanks for anybody who might be watching or was watching or is watching, and I will see you again soon. Good night.